Downtown condos. Okay, we can't do a segment on property prices without talking about downtown condos. As you guys know, we are downtown. We're right in the Beltline, close to Lower Mount Royal. So we are aware of what's been going on in the last few years. We spoke about this before, but during COVID, we could look out these windows and nobody was walking up and down. For the couple of years after that, all the buildings were empty. There was nobody walking around. The restaurants were never full. But now that we're fully out of COVID, more people are working downtown in the office towers. Every evening, there's people walking up and down, going to all the restaurants here in the Beltline. They're all full, dinner time. When it's a warm day, everyone is out on the streets. All the little parks around here are full. People are walking their dogs. There's demand downtown again. So that's why we're seeing the Beltline prices start to come back. Now, the year-over-year price was right around the Calgary average, 6.8 here. Calgary's average was, it's half of Calgary's average. But Calgary's average is all property types. All of Calgary condos, 13.8%. So we're seeing the Beltline come back. It's not coming back the way all these other communities are for condos. But one thing you got to know about the Beltline is there's a massive mix of condo buildings down here. There's new towers. There's 50-year-old, rundown buildings. There's some that they don't even have condominium boards. They've been so poorly run. They're so run down. So there's a huge mix of condominium buildings in the Beltline. But to see a price increase, we're very, very positive about that.
Yeah, and we love this. And the reason why we're so positive is that a lot of the buildings being built right now are rental purpose built buildings, which leaves supply low for people wanting to buy in the Beltline, which is simply going to drive prices. Okay. The city, downtown Calgary, has become attractive again. Like, it's funny, I was talking to someone about Winnipeg and they're like, why don't we invest in Winnipeg? And I'm like, the funny thing about Winnipeg, no one wants to live near downtown. They all live away from downtown, right? Well, Calgary definitely went through a stage there, Tim, where there was oversupply of properties for sale, and now there isn't. So just that alone, and it is desirable. Downtown Calgary, it's safe. We have good transit in and out of here. We have good access. And you know what? They're putting in supermarkets. We got one in the East Village here, and there's more scheduled going forward. So it's going to become more and more attractive for homeowners. And for some people, it's their only option. It's the most affordable option. And Tim, some people we find don't even care that they live in a condo. I mean, the Canadian dream is to have a backyard and a house, but some people coming from different countries where living in condo is perfectly fine. And you're going to see, from what data we see, more and more people still move to Calgary in 2025, driving the Beltline prices.
Yeah, and looking at affordability, if you look at the average price in these communities, these downtown communities, the average price, the downtown core is the highest average price at 406 because that's where that's where Eau Claire is, and the most high-end buildings are. But if you look at the average price, Sunalta, 247, that's the average price of a condo in Sunalta. Now, if that's all you can afford as a first-time investor, then that's what you got to buy. When we bought our first investment properties, we can tell you they weren't the prettiest ones around. Yeah. They were some pretty ugly houses that we owned back in the early 2000s. Yeah. So if you're starting out and your qualification is 250, well, you may have to go to that little condo in Sunalta. And guess what? They're getting very good rents. Yeah. We have clients that own in Sunalta. They're renting them out. The places have never been empty as long as the buildings are upkept. And they're getting decent rents.
Yeah, and there's multiple things you can do with condos. You could do Airbnb with condos. You could do furnished executive rentals. Okay, it doesn't cost much to put furniture. You could buy furniture on IKEA, Wayfair, Amazon. We're furnishing properties for less than $7,000, and then you're getting premium rents. If it's furnished, you can jack the rent by at least $500 to $700 on the average rental amount when it's not furnished. So you can now cash flow on these properties. So you have to understand, our job as investment-focused realtors is to find out where you're at and then put you in the best option to get the most appreciation, to cash flow from day one, and grow your portfolio. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So you can see these huge increases, 20%, 21%, 16%. We're very positive about that because in the last 5 years, we were seeing decreases in the price of in the average price for condos down here. So that being said, as more and more people come to this city and more people rent properties in the downtown core, it's becoming more and more attractive for investors. We had our Airbnb guys come in and do a seminar 2-3 seminars ago. They're very positive about certain buildings. They know the buildings that you can do Airbnb in, the high rises that you can do Airbnb in with no issues. A lot of the high rises don't let you do it. But some of the low rises, the 4-story, the 5-story walk-ups, very easy to do. You can have your own lockbox on your balcony or something like that. So like Azad said, multiple uses for an investment property if you have a downtown condo.
Yeah,